What is PRINCE2 Agile? Well, the official definition is shown on the slide here. PRINCE2 Agile describes how to configure and tune PRINCE2 so that PRINCE2 can be used in the most effective way when combining with Agile behaviours, concepts, frameworks and techniques. So the important point to know is that PRINCE2 Agile is not a method in itself, but an extension of the existing PRINCE2 method. It can be used with any or all Agile behaviours, concepts, frameworks and techniques. And as a PRINCE2 practitioner, you'll be familiar with the concept of tailoring to the project environment. And in essence, PRINCE2 Agile is guidance on how to tailor PRINCE2 to an Agile environment. It's important to make a key distinction right from the start between PRINCE2 Agile and Agile. In common with PRINCE2, PRINCE2 Agile is only designed to be used for projects, whereas Agile can be used for projects or business as usual. Indeed, many of their Agile methods and behaviours are used in business as usual, but PRINCE2 Agile is only designed to be used for projects in the same way as PRINCE2. And the slide on my left shows the project characteristics and business as usual characteristics, which, if you're a PRINCE2 practitioner, you'll be very familiar with. Now, this next slide is titled The Difference Between Projects and Business as Usual. And indeed, it shows project work on the left and business as usual work on the right. However, it also shows where PRINCE2 Agile fits into PRINCE2. So on the left, you can see the three management layers within PRINCE2. And of course, the fourth layer would be corporate or program above that. But on the slide, you can see the three main layers within PRINCE2, which is the project board directing a project, the project manager managing a project, and the delivery layer. And you can see there that it's the delivery layer where PRINCE2 Agile fits in, where Agile fits into PRINCE2 in the delivery of work on the project. And that flows through into business as usual, and it shows Agile working in business as usual as well. And that's where particularly Scrum has been particularly effective in the delivery of business as usual, but can also be used for delivery of projects. We'll now move on to an overview of Agile. And as the slide says, the term Agile is viewed in many different ways. Those of you who have been around as long as I have will be able to trace Agile back to its very beginnings, before even the term Agile was coined. We referred to rapid system development, rapid application development. They were all alternatives to the Waterfall method. And out of those alternatives, Agile grew. And it was probably the Agile Manifesto which first coined the term Agile. We now move on to the Agile Manifesto. And as I said, it refers to software, but you could substitute software with product or solution. And in fact, the manifesto was created in 2001 and reviewed 10 years later. And it's a bit of a shame that, given one of their values is responding to change, that they didn't see fit to change software to a more generic term. But anyway, we can, and refer to software or products or solution. It's applicable to all. The other key point to note is the last point along the bottom of the slide, that although Agile values the left-hand side more than the right-hand side, that doesn't mean to say that the right-hand side is bad and the left-hand side is good. It's all good. It's just arguably in an Agile world, left is better. but we still need to do the things on the right-hand side as appropriate to the given project and environment. This next slide looks at the difference between a waterfall development and an iterative and incremental development or agile development. And as you can see on the left-hand side, we have a traditional waterfall approach where effectively there's one iteration going through analysis, design, development, test, implementation. It's trying to deliver the whole project in one go. Design the whole project, develop the whole project, test the whole project, deliver the whole project, all in one go. Which for very small projects is probably okay. But for large projects that last a long time, maybe 6, 12 months or longer, the difficulty with the waterfall approach is that things change during the project. The world, the environment in which the project is being delivered changes, and therefore the requirements on the project change. And the waterfall approach isn't the most agile, the most effective at dealing with that change. In PRINCE2 terms, we talk about the planning horizon. How far ahead can we reasonably plan the project? And the iterative and incremental approach really just goes another stage further. So within a PRINCE2 management stage, you could have several iterative developments at the delivery level. As we saw on a previous slide, the project manager sits at the management level, where we'll have management stages as we do with PRINCE2. And a management stage will plan to the planning horizon. Within that management stage, we can have several technical delivery stages, and they can be iterative and incremental agile developments. This next slide shows an overview of what many people think Agile is. But you should know that PRINCE2 Agile views Agile as being much more than just a sprint approach. But this is a key part of Scrum, which is one of the key Agile frameworks. So as you can see on the left-hand side, there's a product backlog. And that effectively is all the requirements for your product or project. They then feed in to a sprint. And a sprint is really just a time-boxed piece of development. And during that sprint, that time-boxed piece of development, a number of requirements from the product backlog are selected to go into the sprint backlog. That is, what are we going to try to deliver during this sprint? The development team then works during that time box period to deliver as much of the sprint backlog as they can, to the required quality, of course. And at the end of the sprint, the development team deliver shippable product. That is, completed, tested pieces of functionality that can go into a production environment. And then they repeat again for the next sprint. So as I said on the last slide, which presented a basic view of Agile, the PRINCE2 view of Agile is much greater than that. It's a more comprehensive view, and as it says on this slide, includes vision roadmaps and releases, certainly non-IT situations, remains focused on project work as traditional PRINCE2, so PRINCE2 Agile, again I'd emphasise, is only applicable to project work, not business as usual. Includes flow-based working, a wider mindset, so it includes other techniques such as, for instance, Kanban, which doesn't require a time-boxed approach, and more business-focused approaches such as Lean Startup. So it's not just restricted to a Scrum type environment, but does include Scrum. We'll now take a brief look at some of the more popular Agile frameworks available. And as you can see on this slide, we've got a number listed. And the ones listed in red are really only applicable to software development. But as I said before, PRINCE2 Agile isn't just focused on software development, and the methods listed in green are applicable to non-IT environments as well. And really, from a PRINCE2 Agile point of view, the three in bold, Scrum, Kanban and Lean Startup, are the three that PRINCE2 Agile focuses on. And certainly if you're taking the exam, they're the three you need to understand. Now, if you're a PRINCE2 practitioner, you'll be familiar with PRINCE2 listing many options that you could choose to use without mandating any of them. And really, PRINCE2 Agile works in the same way. So it'll make you aware of all these options that you could use if appropriate for your project in your environment, but it doesn't mandate any of them, even the three that are highlighted. Along with the major Agile frameworks such as Scrum and Kanban, there are also behaviours, concepts and techniques that are thought of as being Agile, and PRINCE2 Agile encompasses these as well. And some of those are illustrated on this slide, but they shouldn't be seen as a definitive list. There are others, and PRINCE2 Agile can work equally well with them. But this does give you a feel for what Agile is. This slide just emphasises that PRINCE2 Agile regards Agile as a family of behaviours, concepts, frameworks and techniques. So it's not any one framework or any one technique. PRINCE2 Agile seeks to help you in selecting which of the Agile behaviours, concepts, frameworks and techniques you should use on your project and how to integrate them with PRINCE2.